The Nigerian Presidential Task Force, during an update on Monday, June 1st, 2020, announced that Nigeria had, as at May 31st, 2020, recorded over 10,000 cases of COVID-19, over 3,000 recoveries, and 287 deaths. The Presidential Task Force also announced further ease after lockdown to allow opening of worship centers, businesses, and the rest, while also announcing some stimulus packages for small and medium enterprises in Nigeria post-COVID-19. Welcome to TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendu Isisegu, and today we shall be discussing on stimulus packages for small and medium enterprises post-COVID-19 pandemic. But before we proceed, let's look at the business stories making headlines. Stay with us. Economic activities in manufacturing, production, new orders, and other indices contracted in May after recording at least 36 months of consecutive growth. The Statistics Department of the Central Bank of Nigeria disclosed this in its Purchasing Manager Index Survey report for the month of May 2020. It stated that the manufacturing PMI in May stood at 42.4 index point, indicates a contraction in the manufacturing sector for the first time after recording expansion for 36 consecutive months. Of the 14 surveyed subsector, only the electrical equipment sector recorded growth in the review month, while the remaining 30 subsector recorded declines in the following order of cement, petroleum, and coal products, printing, and related support activities. The Central Bank of Nigeria has extended the time frame for the submission of the 2019 audited financial statement of other financial institutions due to the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on other operations. The OFI include microfinance bank, discount houses, bureau de change, payment services banks, and primary mortgage banks. The Apex Bank disclosed the extension in the circular on Friday titled Extension of the Time Frame for the Submission of 2019 Audited Financial Statement, signed by the Director of the Financial Institutions Supervision Department in Kiru Asiegbu. The CBN said it will monitor compliance with the extended date and defaulters will be sanctioned accordingly. Trading activities on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed on a positive note on the first day of this month, following gains recorded by small blue chip firms. The NSE All-Share Index appreciated by 0.19% as Japo Oil and Maritime Services PLC led all the gainers at the end of trading on Monday. The market breadth closed in the green with 28 gainers and 10 losers. The all-share index rose by 48.33 basic points from 25,267.82 on Friday to 25,316.15, while the market capitalization of equities appreciated by 25 billion naira to close at 13.193 trillion naira from 13.168 trillion naira. Japo Oil and Maritime Services and the Nigerian Aviation Handling Company PLC led the gainers chart as they appreciated by 10%, each to close at 22 kobo and 2.75 kobo per share respectively. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Silva, on Sunday vowed to work with the new board members of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to reduce the cost of crude oil production. Silva assured the President Muhammad Buhari that the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources would work with the BAD to deliver on the objectives of the oil industry. The objectives, according to a statement from the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, include bringing down the cost of production of crude oil, eliminating vandalism, improving the national crude oil reserve, and passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill. In his capacity as Minister of State, Silva is the alternative chairman of the NNPC board, and the membership of the board includes the Group Managing Director of the NNPC and Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Finance. And that's the business update on Television Nigerian. I am Chiwendu Isisegu. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
There are a lot of false information about the coronavirus. These are the facts. People of all ages can be affected by the coronavirus. However, older people and people with pre-existing medical conditions such as asthma, diabetes, heart diseases are more vulnerable to the disease. It is not for old people alone. Gargling salt and warm water or chewing garlic and ginger cannot prevent the virus. Drinking alcohol, hot lemon, palm oil or chloroquine will not kill the virus. The virus cannot be transmitted through mosquito bites. Antibiotics do not work against the viruses. Antibiotics work only against bacteria. Boiling pineapple peels, lime, and ginger does not kill the virus. Putting raw onions in rooms will not ward off the virus. Using or spraying Dettol, special oils, and water all over your body cannot kill the virus. There is no scientific evidence that cooking, drinking, or eating any of these is an effective treatment for coronavirus. Do not self-medicate and take responsibility by sharing only verified messages from health authorities such as NCDC, Federal Ministry of Health, and WHO.
Many thanks for staying with us, and in case you just joining us, it's still TV and Business Daily. Like I stated earlier, we shall be discussing on stimulus packages for small and medium enterprises post-COVID-19 pandemic. My guest is here with me in the studio. He is a public affairs analyst and a business consultant, Mr. Joseph Roger. You're welcome to TV and Business.
Thank you for having me on your show today.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Okay, talking about the presidential task force briefing that was held on Monday, the 1st of June 2020, that spoke about these stimulus packages for small and medium enterprises. How effective do you think this has been?
First off, those entrepreneurs and small businesses in Nigeria have been expecting to get stimulus packages from the federal government to be able to assist with the post-COVID-19 pandemic. At the moment, we've seen that the Central Bank of Nigeria has launched the stimulus packages for both household and entrepreneurs or businesses, and it's actually a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
So how do you see businesses post-COVID-19?
At the moment, most businesses are looking forward to getting the stimulus packages as much as possible because they're already faced with the challenges of the pandemic, what the pandemic has thrown at them at the moment. Most businesses and business owners I've interacted with have all complained of not being able to make adequate sales or profit during the whole pandemic because the entire nation has been on a lockdown. But they are looking forward to the stimulus packages to help them to be able to bounce back. Good thing is that the federal government and the CBN has actually put measures to make sure that they can actually get all the stimulus packages. But what I'll actually say is that what business owners at the moment should be doing is to look at how they can begin to restructure their businesses because COVID-19 has actually changed the face of doing business in the world. They are supposed to begin to find a way to learn new skills, find a way to upgrade themselves, find a way to bring in technology. So even if the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria is making arrangements to send forth stimulus packages to businesses and individuals, they should also plan to see how they can remain relevant in the face of doing business in Nigeria.
Okay, so do you think the federal government should give a moratorium period for business loan?
Definitely, because as a business person and a business consultant, if you collect a loan and you have to pay back immediately, you're going to be faced with lots of challenges. First off, every business in Nigeria has to begin to prepare for the aftermath of COVID-19, because first off, we can't really tell what the economy is going to look like at the moment. We can't tell if we collect these loans and we have to pay back after a month or two. We don't know whether we'll be able to generate the cash flow to be able to pay back. But if the federal government and the CBN is able to put moratoriums in place where small-scale business can begin to pay back these loans after 6 months or 1 year, it gives them a buffer where they can actually begin to recuperate what they've lost over time. So the moratorium is really important for small businesses, and I encourage the government to really look into that. Minimum, a moratorium of 6 months or 9 months, it's fair enough. And also at the same time, we should not just look at the moratorium, but we should also look at the interest rates for these loans that are going to be given to businesses. Because at the moment, most businesses are not just going to skyrocket into making huge profit to be able to pay back loans that they're going to collect from the government. So what the government could do is to do a single-digit interest loan and not a double-digit interest loan. And I think the CBN is actually looking into that. And with the stimulus packages in place and the moratorium actually in place, it's going to give businesses the room to be able to get back on their feet.
Okay, you talked about 6 to 9 months of moratorium period. A lot of people will still say that it's still small. Do you think 1 year is okay, or probably 2 years?
It depends on the kind of business. I think talking about moratorium, we should put in place or look at the kinds that are going to be receiving these loans. Mm-hmm. For instance, businesses like agriculture, we can say they should be given a moratorium between 9 months to 1 year, because we're looking at the planting season. And at the moment, a whole lot was not done concerning planting on agriculture because everybody was on lockdown. And we're almost wrapping up the planting season. So collecting a loan for agricultural purposes, let's say livestock production or fish farming or cash crop farming, you will get to realize that most of the farmers at the moment would be looking at doing dry season farming where they have to do a lot of irrigation, and it's going to cost more. Mm-hmm. So if these moratoriums are going to be put in place, 9 months is okay, 1 year is okay. But I wouldn't encourage, I wouldn't be in support of, say, a moratorium of 2 years, because for me, it gives too much room for a business owner to relax. Okay. The reason you're collecting this loan is to push it back into your business, and as much as possible, find a way to kickstart your business back to shape.
Okay. During the briefing, it was announced that over 10,000 cases, and looking at now, that the cases are still increasing. How do you think this will affect businesses, in the sense that people still go to, to patronize people?
The good thing about COVID-19 is that COVID-19 is not a life sentence. If you happen to contact the virus, it doesn't automatically mean you're going to die of the virus. Mm-hmm. So I think what the government has done over time is to relax measures and see how people can get back to their life. What every individual should practice or begin to do at the moment is to listen to what the professionals are saying. They've encouraged us to use face masks as regularly as possible, maintain your 2 meters distance as much as possible, and practice all the hygiene methods put in place as much as possible. So, you cannot, with the present adjustment of the lockdown, you're going to expect more businesses to become operational. Mm-hmm. But the onus is on us to maintain safety and health precautions, so that we can be able to sustain our businesses, we can be able to kickstart also the economy. You understand? At the same time, find a way to also diversify our economy and do a whole lot regarding the economy and the nation at large.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the presidential task force is yet to address those who lost their job.
Okay.
Yeah, they have not said anything about it. So, what imperative is this?
At the moment, I don't know if federal government staff lost their jobs, but most people that lost their jobs may be as a result of private businesses that folded up. So we shouldn't just be looking at the fact that the individuals lost their job. We should also consider the fact that some organizations and some private industries or cottage industries also shut down, and it's also going to affect the owners per se. That is why the stimulus packages covers also household and businesses. So there's a window opportunity for individuals to reach out for the stimulus packages to aid them through this phase of life. Because at the same time, it's not going to be funny on any household if the head of the house lost his job as a result of the whole pandemic. But be that as it may, what has happened. It wasn't planned. So what the government can do at this moment is to encourage SMEs, small-scale businesses, to begin to scale and grow, and also encourage people to diversify their means of earnings. There's a whole lot that has not been tapped into in the face of agriculture. We need to disabuse our minds of the mystery or the desire of white-collar jobs, quote and unquote, and see how we can diversify into entrepreneurship, into agriculture, agroeconomics, and a lot of other important areas because the government alone cannot cater for the entire nation in terms of meeting the needs of every individual. That's where the private sector comes in, where they can also aid the government in doing business and relieving the weight from the government. If you look at first world countries and second world nations in the world, you find out that the government does its own bit, but they have a strong private sector which drives also the economy. You find out that the economy of Western nations are industrialized, and most of these industries are run by private individuals and corporations, and there's a whole lot that can be done outside of the government. So what I would encourage people to do is get the knowledge concerning entrepreneurship, go into agriculture precisely, and let's see what we can get out of there. I was talking with a friend yesterday, and she is actually a chef. She's a graduate, and she is crazy about her business. She says if she drives her business as much as she wants to do, she can be earning as much as 500,000 naira profit every month. Yeah, and all she does is cook for occasions, manage events, and all of that. So there's a whole lot that can happen if we're able to diversify and take off our minds off the white-collar jobs. Because truth be told, at the end of the day, you're going to retire and you're going to be on your pension. And that alone is a different phase of life altogether. So I think we should look at the possibility of doing other things apart from the normal white or blue collar jobs.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you've advised people to actually look into other things. How do you think they can start? For example, the agricultural sector. Okay. A lot of people don't have an idea of how the agricultural sector is or how to start. So how would you advise someone to start a sort of business?
Okay, I will say two things about this. First of all, before you begin or jump into any business, you need to study about it. You need to get the right information about any kind of business you want to venture into. Entrepreneurship is not a bed of roses where you jump into it and then after a couple of days, months or years, you become a success. The likes of Dangote and the big giants in Africa, they didn't just get to where they are in a couple of months or couple of years. It took years of diligence, consistency, and persistence to get to where they are at the moment. So what I encourage people to do is study very hard, make your research into any area you want to venture into. And then secondly, you should plug into mentorship. Look for people who have done what you are about to do and plug into learning under them. They should tutor you and you can get the relevant skills, because being where they are or whatever they might have achieved is going to be a product of many experiences. They've learned the hard way, they've learned the ropes, and it's going to be easier for you if you're mentoring under somebody to avoid some of the pitfalls and the mistakes they made over time. So what I encourage people to do is, while you are preparing to venture into any business, get all the relevant information you can get about that field, about that sector, be thorough and diligent about it. And then secondly, look for people who can train you, who can hold your hands literally and lead you through. Because for instance, Nigeria is blessed with land mass, are blessed with very beautiful weather. But most Nigerians are not venturing into agriculture because they feel like agriculture is about farming and nobody wants to get dirty. Everybody wants to wear a suit and a tie and look very good. But the truth of the matter is that's a business sector that can never go extinct because people are always going to have need of food. And if you get into agriculture and agroeconomics and agricultural production on a large scale, you're definitely going to make it big. Over time, I think there was a time where I heard, quote and unquote, that one of the plans of Dangote is that every household must consume a product of Dangote. So if you're not consuming Dangote sugar, you're consuming Dangote salt, you're consuming Dangote noodles, you're consuming Dangote pasta and all whatnot. So that alone is going to generate revenue across board. And agriculture is not a sector that will just fizzle into thin air over time. So basically, I encourage people to embrace it and see what we can make out of it.
Yeah, and also be focused, and determination is one of the keys for a successful, business.
Very true.
All right, let's take a quick break, and after the break, we'll continue. So stay tuned.
My name
is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-905. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thank you for joining us again, and in case you're just joining, it's still TV and Business Daily. Like I stated earlier, we've been discussing on stimulus packages for small and medium enterprises post-COVID-19 pandemic, and my guests have been doing justice to the topic. He is a public affairs analyst and a business consultant, Mr. Joseph Oroja. Okay, my next question is that most of the small and medium enterprises in Nigeria now going through a lot of challenges. How do you think they can actually overcome these challenges, especially this period of COVID-19 pandemic?
First off, the SMEs are not just the only one going through the challenge of COVID-19. The entire world is facing a lot of challenge. Presently, at the moment, in the United States, you have protests going on across, I think, almost every state in the United States. Even in Nigeria, the federal government is doing its best to handle the challenges that COVID-19 has posed on everyone. But for the SMEs who are majorly hit by the COVID-19, I would encourage them to stay focused and begin to restructure their businesses. One of the major ways they can do that is by embracing information technology. Because at the moment, if, for instance, you've lost your business premises, you can actually take your business online. You don't need to have a store or a shop, in quotes, to run your business. You should begin to develop information technology skills that are relevant to your sector in particular. Because at the moment, you cannot overemphasize the importance of ICT. Schools actually on break are online. They've resumed online and they're engaging the students online. So business owners also should take advantage of the online space and grow their business virtually. And the good thing about the virtual businesses, you can reach clients in any part of the world. You can have local clients, you can have international clients, patronize your business. So I think we shouldn't just sit back, fold our arms and want to do business as we have been doing it over time. We should embrace technology and see how we can do business through the internet.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Okay, finally, so what's your final take? Now that worship centers have been open, businesses have been open, what's your advice to Nigerians out there?
First off, what I'll tell Nigerians is the fact that there is no cure to coronavirus at the moment. There are no vaccines. So what anybody should first of all think of doing, churches, businesses, worship centers, places of worship and the rest, is to put in measures to forestall the spread of the virus. All the measures that the NCDC and the health practitioners have actually encouraged us to put in place should be adhered to, hook, line, and sinker. And at the same time, now that worship centers are being open, the leaders of these worship centers, should you see this as an opportunity to enlighten their members on the scourge of coronavirus. At the same time, they should also use it as an opportunity to encourage people who have been at home. Some of them have been going through difficult times because they've lost their jobs and all of that. So they should also see it as an opportunity to encourage people to be able to bounce back and live their life. COVID-19, we don't know how long it's going to stay with us, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, before a vaccine or a cure comes out for it. So it's something we are going to live with